There we go. Hi, everybody. My name is Cindy Mattingly, and today we're going to be talking about holding space for you, yourself, and for others. I'll start the share. What I would invite you to do is in that first where it says number 1, components, invite you to write down these words like gentle, non-judgmental, allow the outcome to be what it is, and a reminder, no fixing, no advice, no shame. And then you want to be really mindful about your verbal, like what you say does matter. It carries a certain vibration. Your thoughts, even if you don't voice them, they carry a vibration and then the energy. So those are, and I'm just going to introduce it by reading this paragraph. Holding space or creating a container or bubble for yourself is a valuable skill. When you do this for others, it's truly a gift. Having this skill in your toolkit is deeply helpful when you or others are facing a challenge. True space holding is a body felt sense or experience for the recipient, and that includes you holding space for yourself. They or you feel the unconditional, personal, positive regard. And there are several steps to creating this container or bubble, and I'm going to introduce them in the workshop, and then your homework is to practice. But first, we're going to try to do it here. So I'm going to see if and then I'll share the screen, this document more, but I'm going to stop the screen share because I really want to invite everybody to have experiences today. So the first thing that I would invite you to do is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to feel what gentle is. What's that energy called gentle? So we're just going to take a moment. And then open your eyes. And what did you get? Did you get an image, a word? Did you feel it in your body somewhere? What was your experience of that word?
Peacefulness.
Say that one more time.
Peacefulness. I felt really
peaceful. Peacefulness. Okay.
And I felt it more on the outside of my body, like a stroking kind of a.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I'd say also on the outside, kind of just like a soft, not really a movement, but more of a softening of the outline.
So softening. Okay.
I saw like gray puffy clouds.
Okay, so you got an image.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Anybody else?
I got an image and a feeling, both.
Okay. All right. So we all know what that word means, right? On so many levels. So when someone's holding a gentle space for you, you're going to recognize that because it's going to have either the image or the word, or, this person really seems to hold a gentle space, a peaceful space, a soothing space. You're going to be putting words to this experience that you had. Okay. So now let's go to closing your eyes. What does non-judgmental feel like? Okay, open your eyes. What did you get?
I got the word open.
Open.
I got love, but also some sensation in my head. It was like,
Mm-hmm. So you had this physical experience. Great.
but in my head, not in my heart, which was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. But where does judgment come from?
From the mind.
Okay. Anybody else?
I got the image of Maria from The Sound of Music when she's dancing on the, or not dancing, but she's singing on the hills in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel anything, but I just got that image.
Mm-hmm. But remember, intuition, right? Comes in all these different ways.
Yeah.
And that's really important that you realize how are you perceiving these different words? Because the experience that people had for the word gentle was very different than the word non-judgmental, right? Anybody else have a sharing that you want to? Okay. Yep.
We said the word judgment, right? That was
Non-judgmental.
non-judgmental. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, you.
I got an image of a fence, like a beautiful pasture, but I got very strong image of like a fence, like this solidness.
Right. Well, and what you're doing is you're reading that energy, and then your senses, your perceptions giving you this feedback. So now let's look at allowing the outcome to be what it is. Now that's a big concept, right? But I'm going to invite you again to just repeat that, allowing the outcome to be what it is, and close your eyes and experience the energy of that. And then opening your eyes. What was your experience?
So I had my ego in my mind immediately. What? The first time I heard the expression, what? and
Right.
then I felt peaceful. But the first reaction of my whole inner self was like my ego. Oh, what? Hello, what?
Right. It might be a new concept,
Exactly.
right? Your energy, your system's like, well, what does that feel like? How do I experience that? Just allowing it to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. Anybody else?
I freaked out a little bit because I always want to control everything. This was hard. This one was hard.
It is hard. I'm not saying it's not. So yeah, but a great self-awareness, right? Where you go, okay, I want to hold space for myself, because that's where we're going to start. And, my ego got involved. I felt a little freaked out. I'm like, oh, okay, this is great awareness. And I think, Ellen, right?
Yes.
You had your hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to have words come to me when you ask these questions. So the word that came to me was freedom.
Mm-hmm. That's a great word. Anybody else?
I saw, again, I had some imagery like as if I was walking on a beach and the waves were kind of crashing on the mid-tide, and they were slowly moving out into the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Great imagery. Yeah. Okay. So now imagine these next words that I had you write down. No fixing. No advice and no shame. So close your eyes, and I'm going to repeat them again. and see what energy you get. No fixing, no advice, no shame. And then opening your eyes. What'd you get? What was your experience?
I got the impulse of moving forward.
Mm,
It was very interesting.
right.
And in the past, few years back, until a few years back, I used to give advice like immediately. I used to give, to try to fix everybody. And I learned different things, and I'm not doing that anymore. But I think it's still in me somehow.
Mm. That's an incredible awareness. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right. The desire, right?
It's still there. Yeah, it's still there, but I can control it because I know better now. I worked a lot on this part of myself.
You've done a lot of self-work.
Exactly, but it was interesting because I had this feeling of like moving forward. Oh, let me let me fix you. Let me give you some advice.
Right. Right. That's great. Anyone else?
Similar, I'd say similar to what Valerica felt. I've definitely felt that in my feet. So whereas for gentle and non-judgmental, I felt the energy from the heart space and up. But for this last one with fixing, I felt it in my feet, like almost like I wanted to walk or go
Mhm.
somewhere.
Action. Yes.
Action for sure. Yeah.
Great. Great. That's great insight. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had this image. A friend of mine was telling me a very difficult story. It wasn't difficult for me, it was difficult for him. And he had a lot of shame and he had a lot of judgment. And I remember I was just sitting there and letting him get it out. And that's the picture I saw.
Okay. So you have an awareness of what shame, fixing, advice looks like.
For
Very-
somebody else, yes.
Well, and you holding the space for that. You're not doing any of that. You're not participating with that energy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then the last thing, just to be mindful, and you guys are already doing it, is your words have an energy. What you say does matter if you're holding space for someone or for yourself. Because how many people are gentle with themselves? It's a very low percentage, just so you know. Most people are very critical of themselves. That was a stupid thing. I can't believe I did that. Shame. I should do better. Advice. Okay. So verbal, and then the thoughts that run through your head. So sometimes, and Valerica, you did a beautiful job of articulating this one, right? You have the thought. You didn't utter the words. You didn't actually act on it. Carolyn did the same thing. It's like you're aware of the desire to do the action, but neither one did that. But the thought has energy. And that's a big thing. When you're holding space, the bottom line, right, is neutral. No thoughts, no advice, no. So it's a very, challenging is the wrong word. It is a skill that you work on. And the way you work on it is by your own awareness. And so several of you have already articulated, oh yeah, this person gets an image, this person gets a word, this person, this is incredible awareness because all of that is giving you your feedback loop. So any questions about that piece? Because now we're going to move into you.
Yeah,
So-
I do have a question. I mean, when you say neutral place, I sort of understand it, but I also feel like should compassion be a part of it?
Well, compassion's an energy. So sometimes people don't want the compassion. They just want you, and I use this in the handout. It's called active listening. Sometimes they just want you to really pay attention.
And I get that, but for me, it would come from
Right.
having some compassion for the person.
But I'm starting with you.
Okay.
You to have compassion for you as an example. But what I really want you to have an experience of is, because compassion is a whole big energy.
Well, and it has some judgment in it too.
Thank you. I was trying not to say, I was like, where are my words so I can say it in a way that helps. And so this is me holding space for you guys as a group, but also looking for the right words to help you start with that foundational energy of awareness so that you can build your chops, right? And you can hold space for yourself, which is probably one of the hardest things to do, right? Because of our own nature. So, but that's a good question, Millie. You guys feel ready?
I just like to add a comment about the thoughts. What works for me is don't allow the thoughts to expand. I notice them, I laugh. If I have like a judgmental thought or something, they come. I can.
Right, they do.
But I don't allow them to expand. It's like I just notice them. Oh, goodbye. I don't have time for you. It's like driving and seeing different trees.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't stop because I see a beautiful tree or something or interesting. I don't stop. I just noticed it and drive by.
Right.
So that works for me.
Right. And there's also another technique where you say, oh, there's a judgmental thought. And you can say, thank you. And you just ask it to sit to the side. It's in the waiting room, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's that same kind of taking the energy, because energy follows thought, and just asking it to sit to the side. Thank you very much for the information. So meditation helps you have this higher awareness, and when you have the thoughts or you're trying to give a good response, then that's when you can create the space for that inspiration of a good thing to say will show up. So thank you, Valerica. So let's start with you. I'm going to ask all of you to think about and select a challenge that you have. You don't have to necessarily share it in this group, but I want you to have an experience of walking through the components of holding space for yourself. So think about whatever the challenge is. You can write it down, be very aware. You can pick a hard thing, you can pick a light, it doesn't matter. Okay. Everybody got one? Yes? Yeah, yeah. Okay, good, good. Head nodding, great. Okay. So now you have your challenge. It's very clearly in your body. So close your eyes. Feel the energy of this challenge. And then make note of that. You're just can be anything, right? Whatever your experience is, what you got, image, words, whatever that is. And now you've got the challenge. Now hold that challenge with that gentle energy. And notice what you feel in your body. Now add that non-judgmental energy to this challenge. And just notice what you're feeling in your body with this challenge. And then you can open your eyes, make a few notes. Did anyone notice that it changed? Yeah. Great. Everybody good to go to the next? Okay. So now you're going to be closing your eyes. You're feeling your challenge in your body. You've got this energy of this challenge in your body. You know exactly what that feels like. And now you're going to hold it into this energy of allowing it to, the outcome to be whatever it is. And then you can open your eyes and make a note of whatever you've noticed. Now that one I know is a little bit more of a concept. Did anybody have changes with that? Or did you notice that it was clearer or harder
It was definitely harder for me.
to hold your challenge
It,
and
it
allow
went-
it to be whatever it was? Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Anybody?
would say the same experience. That's one that's gonna have to be worked on. It was like painful, like tension in my chest.
Mm,
Yeah, so definitely an area for self-reflection and work.
right. Well, and because this, if this is the desire that you have, is you want to be able to hold space, the first person that has to be able to hold the space is yourself.
Mhm.
And, you know, just in physics and energy and all that, right? We can only radiate that which we magnify within.
Mm.
And that's a really important principle, right? About the way energy works. Okay. So now going back into your body, closing your eyes, you have your challenge. And now just holding that challenge in your body and thinking or saying, no fixing, no advice, no shame. Notice what happens to the energy. You can open your eyes, write down any kind of notes that you have for yourself. So any observations there for you?
It was peaceful.
Very good. Peaceful.
I'd say the same. Even though the outcome causes an issue for me, once we get into not fixing, no advice, and no shame, it's like I've been sedated. It's like completely releases.
Moving into the right direction to help you get that feeling of holding space.
Hmm.
Right. Right. No, that's a really great observation. It's like, oh, okay, so I do have some kind of awareness around what this means.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we're just going to do this last bit where you close your eyes. You have your challenge within your body, and you want to pay attention to any words that are popping up that you want to tell it or tell yourself, thoughts that are showing up, or just energy. Just being mindful, what's the energy around this? And then just now open your eyes and write down any observations around that one. Okay. So now my question is, how did it feel to hold space for yourself? Or your challenge, if you will. Did you get 3 out of 4? Did you have a sense of it? Did it change?
It was like a discovery.
Beautiful word.
Very interesting, because I don't judge myself. Whatever I do, there is a reason. Maybe I don't know it immediately, but I will find out later on. So I stopped judging myself many years ago. If I could share what all this experience in a minute, I would appreciate that. Okay, so my problem is snoozing in the morning. So when we did the first step, I saw a spiral from the head to my toe, like the whole body is in this problem. And then I felt very relaxed and even more relaxed. And then it was a joy. So maybe the joy is from the fact that I snooze so I can continue my dreams. I have beautiful dreams that I can continue forever. And so that's joy. But then I have this conversation with myself that I'm still not understanding what's going on, why I do snooze, why I have this maybe problem or whatever. The last step was I'm screwing my time. That's what it came to my mind. I'm screwing my time, and the energy is being wasted. So that's why I'm saying it's a discovery. That's very good. Because at one point I was like, maybe I'm doing this so I can have this dialogue with me. Why are you doing this? Maybe you should do something else. Maybe you should try different things. And then I go immediately, oh, no, I'm not going to have this dialogue. I'm not going to shame myself. There is a reason for me to do the snoozing. I'm going to figure out at some point. And maybe this is it. I just figure out.
Right. And the beautiful thing that happens when you hold space for yourself specifically is that you allow, and this is where my science-y background comes in, you're holding the energy of potential, undefined energy. So when you create that opportunity to just be present with yourself with no judgment, you're doing it gently, you're not shaming, you're just there with yourself, you allow discovery, you allow new ideas, you allow energy to come in. Beautiful sharing, Valerica.
Thank you.
So that just gives you kind of an idea. And that's why in the description, I put first, I want you to practice with yourself a lot, because you will know on a deep body level when you do it. Because one of the things that has taught me is when I'm working with somebody and they say to me, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. And it's because I'm just holding this very gentle, very non-judgmental space, and the energy is allowing them to release whatever it is. And then I might say, can I invite you to maybe change that word? This word here. So again, I'm just inviting. They don't have to do it. So the words that I'm using are very specific. They can have whatever experience they want. So this is me allowing their outcome to be whatever it is, right? Is that making sense to you guys? Any questions about yourself? It does take practice.
I do, I want to thank you for that idea of just saying later to because I was getting all the critical thoughts were kind of bombarding. I'm like, okay, later. And the feeling was like, I wanted to throw up when the critical words were coming. So then I was able to,
Just give me a little space. You want to be gentle and loving with the intrusive stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And that's hard, right? That's not what we normally do, right? We're like, oh, could you just shut up, mind? I don't want to feel this. And what ends up happening, it's like packing an explosive in a little bitty can. What's going to happen? Right. So if we just allow it to be what it is, then you get a chance to have a different relationship with the experience or the challenge or the thing. Okay. Good job, guys. Let's go to others, because I'm going to introduce, so there's 3 components to the others. It's the same thing here. We're going to review the components, and we're going to have a body felt sense experience. But the one thing I'm going to introduce when you're working with other people, whether it's a friend, whether it's something professional, is I go through lots of these. And basically, when someone starts talking, I usually have a pen. And it's called active listening. What I'm doing is I am listening not to answer. I'm listening to feel, see, know, experience what is going on with them. Because the thing that might trigger me may not bother them at all, right? So if I'm getting triggered, then what am I doing? I'm participating. I'm trying to fix them. I'm thinking about da-da-da. Instead of just, oh, mom. Because the energy I could hear underneath their conversation about the family reunion, and the one that had the charge to it was mom. So I just write mom, because that's the thing that has the charge to it. And they may not even be aware that that's the thing, right? So it's like the active listening. And I tell people, I'm just writing, scribbling. It helps me to listen better. And that's truly what it does. It's active listening. You write down a word and remember, you feel it in your body. All the ways that your intuition will speak to you. That's active listening. Millie, I think your words that you used were really powerful because you felt like you wanted to throw up, right? Well, if you're listening to somebody and you get that sensation, you want to pay attention to that because you could just be responding to what they aren't saying, right? Again, it's the response to the energy. This is how you hold space for you don't have to solve their problems. You just have to listen. And you got to do it gently and non-judgmental, all those components. Okay. So active listening. And then the components are the exact same, those same words. And what I would like to choose is something that everyone in this group probably has an experience of, which is our pandemic. Okay. So we're going to have a group experience and hold the space for our group in relationship to this challenge. Okay. So you're going to do the same thing we did with you as an individual. So we have our group, and then we have the pandemic. So you can use your piece of paper if you feel like you need to, but you can close your eyes and you're like, what do I feel in my body there's this group energy of the pandemic. So what popped up? Words, images.
I got the tension on the right side of my neck and under the scalp.
Mm-hmm.
I got an image of a puppy chasing its tail. Like there's a lot of unnecessary action.
Okay.
Not the playful way, but it's just.
Okay. Anybody else?
I got the words or the feeling of sadness, fear, and frustration.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a headache and then in my body, and then I really felt that ache, grief, sadness,
Mm-hmm.
where words kind of kept popping up for me.
Okay.
So I felt as the group, I mean, I think that, we have a lot of like-minded people on this Zoom call that are doing the work and dealing with their emotions and feelings. And that's what came to me.
Okay.
So
Good.
like-minded people.
Beautiful. Anybody else?
I got a strong image of a close-up of like hair at the scalp of a root and like thinning of hair, like, and a wavy energy, like not a spin, but just like a wavy.
Right. Good. And the first thing I got was anxiety. Like I just felt this like within my whole body. Okay. So we all had different experiences, right? Different words, different experiences. Great. All right. So now we have group and pandemic, and we've identified the energy, our experience of it. So now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to acknowledge this energy, closing your eyes, and you're going to hold it with gentle, non-judgmental energy. And how was that for you? What was the experience?
Each time I've done the gentle energy, now I recognize it with this one. It's as if the situation is floating right here. Floating. I don't feel it, it just feels soft and it's floating.
Mm-hmm. So it's present, you're
Present.
present, but it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful imagery. Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Isn't it interesting that, you know, a year into it, we can feel this way? Like when you say with softness and peacefulness versus 12 months ago, like the anxiety level for myself. And it just was unbelievable. And like to feel like we can think about it with the knowledge that we have and the experiences that we've gone through, and to actually think of it with softness now. It's pretty incredible. It's powerful.
It's quite powerful. And why do you think there was so much at the beginning?
Personally, it was just the unknown. We didn't know
Beautiful.
how
That's
long it was going to last, or, you know, what, it was just the unknown.
the unknown. So that's, you know, all of us, everyone wanting to manage or control what is.
Right.
Right. No, it's great, Ellen. That was. Anybody else?
So the sensation I had on the back of my neck and the scalp now moved like an energy to the back of my
Did everybody freeze or just Valerica? Just
Valerica.
yeah.
yeah. I'm sure
Oh,
why.
there you go.
It's a lot of energy. That's what, you know, that's when you start doing energy work on a Zoom call, it's going to interact with the energy. So just being mindful, you can put your feet on the ground and just rub and discharge that energy because it's a lot, right?
Yeah, I am actually grounding. I have a mat. I'm grounding.
Yeah, but it's still bringing up the energy because you have a lot of energy, right? There you go. Good. Okay, now let's go to the next part. Same thing, right? We have group and we have the word pandemic and allowing the outcome to be what it is. So remember this energy, you can close your eyes of what that means, group, pandemic, and allowing the outcome to be what it is. And what's your experience there?
I got the word opportunity, and my whole brain is like.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It just felt like the energy and the space could just breathe more, and there was more, just more space. Yeah, just more space.
Allowing it to be what it is.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody else?
I don't do well with this one.
Me either. Me either.
I had a lot bubble up. I had the tickles in the nose, the tears behind the eyes. Yeah,
Right. Right. So it's beautiful to have this kind of awareness brought up so you know that where your challenge is when you're wanting to hold space,
Mhm.
right? It's like, okay, how do I do this? And then that's reflection, contemplation, um, Reiki, whatever, whatever your toolkit looks like, and bringing that in. So that's really great awareness. Because Millie, it's the same for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it's great awareness. So I just don't be hard on yourself because we go to the next one, right? Where you have this energy, no fixing, no advice, no shame. So just closing your eyes, feeling the energy the way you feel it, and then repeating this inside if you want. No fixing, no advice, no shame. And then opening your eyes. How'd you do with that energy?
That
For
one was a
me,
little bit easier for me. I don't know why. I think, well, so instead of looking at the pandemic as a whole and all the the screwy things, and I just looked at the little COVID, that drawing with the spiky sucker things on it. And that I could do, and I could hold that very well.
So what you did is you took whatever the challenge is, right? And you changed your perception of it into a place where you could hold space for it.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible thing you just did.
Hmm.
So congratulations.
Thanks.
It's basically you took the lion and you made it a kitten, right? You're like, okay, you're just a kitten. You're just a this. All right. And I can not fix and not give advice and not feel shameful that this is the way I feel, or it is, or the thing is. So that's a great job. And then the last piece, right? Group energy, pandemic, and you're going to close your eyes and you're going to just notice the words, the thoughts, the energy. Okay. So closing your eyes. And then how'd everybody do with that? There's probably a lot of words and thoughts that go with this one. And energy. Because like Ellen said, it's been a year.
Yeah.
We've been kind of holding space for this energy that's on the planet, even though there's just us, right? Yeah.
I felt a little bit of heartache, but only for a moment. There was something in my heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else?
I kind of felt a mixture of things like come and go, either feelings or thoughts or words. And if there was some sort of uncertainty, or if I would start to feel a certain way that would lower my vibration, I just would move myself into the light and just be present in the light and just let everything else be out there and just stay in the light and hold
So you basically were doing what Millie did. You changed
Yeah.
your perspective so
Yeah.
you could hold space for whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a different way.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
I'd say it's so powerful about this, because, if you're having trouble with, controlling things, and then you're able to feel some type of release when you have permission to not fix, to not give advice, and to not have shame. I think it's so powerful because I know myself, I would have stopped many times at that feeling of not being able to control it, and moved on to something I could handle. I just want to say thank you for that, because I think it's such a powerful thing. And then even with something as big as a pandemic, I got messaging of like to carry on, and kind of like a white light.
Beautiful. Well, and when you're holding space, remember this. This is such an important, when you're holding space, either for yourself or something big, or a person or a group, when you're doing it, even if you think, oh, I can't possibly do this, this is just too hard. When you have that body sense awareness, that felt awareness, and you make a choice to change your perception, or you make a choice to do something different, and it changes the energy, you did it. That's the most important thing. I hope all of you walk out of this, magic Monday class or workshop, just realizing that, yeah, holding space is a skill that you can develop, but you did it. Every single one of you did it today. Each person did it uniquely. You did it your own way. You had awarenesses. You had experiences in your body. And all you were doing, right? So my simple words is interacting with an energy, but holding the space to have this experience. Fantastic job.
Well, thank you for breaking it down in like little chunks. So it's, each step kind of built on the previous. So it was easier to understand.
Good. And then you can embody it, right? You can be aware of, your desire to control things. I mean, that's not one of my attachments for me. Mine is usually like, how can I help them, right? I want to help them. So it's like you pay attention to what your desires are, and there's the action. I think Carolyn and Valerica, I do the same thing. I want to help. I want to find a way to fix them. I want to help them not suffer. So you get a chance to realize, oh, okay, this is my tendency, but is that really holding space? So good awareness, everybody. Thank you for today. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Cindy.
you.
You're awesome. And I'll see, I think most of you next week, maybe for sacred geometry. Right? So have a good week, everybody. Enjoy the sun.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cindy, one quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to send a